Okay, and we are back. We are on day 9 of 30 building an AI application from scratch and taking it to market. Where are we? So we have got the basic functionality in place. The kind of basic tool is working. What we're working on now, therefore, is getting it ready for a beta launch. This because I know the basic functionality is in place, but the results that it produces are fine. They're not that exciting, and I want to get some refinements put in place so that the actual product becomes better. However, what I'm trying to avoid is me driving ahead and making those changes myself based on what I think is going to be the right thing to do. Instead, I want to get this out into the hands of a couple of hundred people who can test this out for me and give feedback themselves, because then I can change my application, I can change my product based on actual potential customer feedback rather than on what I think is going to be good. This is a mistake I see a lot of builders, a lot of entrepreneurs make, where they would just build. They will create their business or create their product in private, secretly for months and months and months and months, thinking that they know best. But when we are the only people who are working on something, we have a very skewed vision of what that is and what's useful. I was actually listening to, there's a video game that just came out. Anyone who knows video games probably knows it. Silk Song is the name of the game, and it's made by basically 2 or 3 guys in New Zealand, and they were talking about it on a podcast recently, and they were asked if they'd ever completed their first game in the most difficult mode. There's this insanely difficult mode that only a few people can actually complete, and they said no, we can't do it, we're not good enough for that. These are people who had made their own game, but they were not able to complete it on its most difficult setting. What they had done is they had built for other people. They hadn't built it for themselves. And if they had built privately just for themselves, their high skill level would have meant the game itself would have been not fun for everybody else. But instead, they made sure that they were building for their customers rather than themselves. And that's what we're going to be trying to do. We're trying to capture that spirit when it comes to launching this product as well. So I'm going to release the basic version, warts and all, to a beta list. I'll probably launch it, I'm running out of time a bit, but if I can launch it on Saturday in my newsletter, I can get a first maybe 100 people in through the door, testing it out, collecting up feedback, and I'll need to find a way to reward them for doing so. 3 credits, for example, and then off the back of that, I will use that feedback to refine and make them more useful. So very quickly, for those of you who have not seen the live stream before, and as a quick recap, what we're building is a tool that will take YouTube videos, it will rip the transcript out of YouTube and turn it into a lead magnet idea. A lead magnet is something that you give away. It is a magnet in order to attract leads, email addresses generally, into your business so that you can then market to the prospect and make sales. So the purpose of this is to allow you to create a lot of lead magnets that are specific to a particular video on YouTube. So once you publish your YouTube video, you'll have a specific lead magnet underneath that particular video, which should have a much higher conversion rate than a generic lead magnet. So that's what we're building. Very quickly on screen, I'll generate a lead magnet so you can see what it looks like just in my YouTube. It's a very new YouTube. Let's try this. Hunger strike, just lost. Which one will be useful? I keep using that one, it's not very interesting. Can you build an app in 30 hours? I think, okay, why are voice features so expensive? We'll just use that, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna plug that YouTube in there, boop, something went wrong. Okay, I think this is an authorization thing, so I just need to re-sign in. I hope it is. Although it has been a, yeah, that's fine. It's been kind of a running joke that every time I start up the stream, there's always something that's gone wrong, which I was not ready for. There we go, that's created. So why AI voice features are so expensive to build. This is based on just one of my videos. And these would be lead magnets that could sit below that video. So is your AI ready for AI? Sorry, is your app ready for AI voice integration? A quiz or assessment, a PDF guide, which is a comprehensive guide to AI voice APIs, gosh, that's a bit of a mouthful, and an AI voice feature development checklist. So I'm going to go ahead and create that checklist. And then what this does is it plugs it into a dashboard, so the user, the customer, later will be able to access the all of their previous lead magnets. And I'm going to build out additional functionality like the ability to have a landing page that captures emails, which sends emails to their Beehive account or whatever their account happens to be. But that is going to come later. We need to not overblow this. We need to not add too much complexity because it increases the chance of it not working. And also I want to get this to market ASAP. So that has created a little checklist which can sit below that video. Awesome. If you are on TikTok, by the way, I know you can see my screen, but it's a bit crappy. So the better place to watch is going to be on YouTube because you can see in 4K, you can see the screen properly. So we go back and then in dashboard, you can see it has created a lead magnet. So oh, that's interesting. That looks incorrect to me. Yeah, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Okay, so we have a problem. So the one that I did create just now was the checklist. So let's click on that. Yep, that exists. But for some reason it's created other ones. So it's created the PDF guide and assessment. It's created kind of placeholders for those here, but they don't actually exist. So let's click on that one. That's one I did before. That's why that's there. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem. We will deal with that, but we're also pushing ahead with building out the authorization. So where were we yesterday? We were putting together an admin page. The admin page now works. Very, very basic, but it will allow me to see who has signed up and get more details about them. I will have their email addresses and stuff, but I need to be a little bit careful because we need to make sure that is secure information, emails, passwords, etc. I also need to be careful. One, for the application, I need to make sure they're not accessible, so they need to go in my database and be highly secured. Two, because I'm doing a live stream, that adds an additional layer of complexity, because even if I'm in the back end and can see these kind of things, I shouldn't be showing it on live stream for obvious reasons. We can't have any information appearing in the live stream, so I'll work out how to balance that as we move forward. But we have a basic admin dashboard. So there's a couple of things. All right, we need to fix. I'm not actually going to fix that error yet that we just saw. We're going to push ahead with the main plan. Okay, so. Okay, Lovable. The admin panel is in place. That's good. The reason we jumped ahead, that was step 6. And we jumped ahead because we wanted to be able to see whether user roles were being created. Okay, we can now go back to the implementation plan and move on with step 3. So let's loop back, go and check the instructions that you were given above. If you cannot find them, ask me and I will relay them back to you from earlier in the chat, but ideally go and find them and we'll move on with step 3. Thank you. So I'm having to look around my telephone. This is the other thing that's not ideal. The telephone is like right in front of my face in order to see the screen. Oh, people are going to laugh at me. Whenever I call it a telephone, people are like, oh, you call it a telephone? Do you use it to like call your mum? Fine, my iPhone. My mobile? What do you want me to call it? I just call it a telephone. So I need to find the implementation plan, but don't see the specific. Could you relay the implementation plan back to me? Well, it's all above. And you wrote it. But this is why I asked. Because sometimes AIs will basically forget what was earlier on, and especially if there is a long list. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be this whole thing. So I'm going to copy this and drop that back in. So we just kind of want to check, and we always do this with AI, and this is where we run into trouble, where if we assume that the AI is infallible and will always get things right and has not forgotten things, it will act in that way, and it will tell us, yeah, I got that. No, don't worry about it. But it's actually forgotten bits from earlier. So we just need to be a bit careful. So that's why I said to it, hey, we're running through a plan. Do you remember the plan? And it's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Thankfully. So now I've relayed the plan back to it, and it can hopefully go on from there. Let's see plan at least, but we'll see. Hey TikTok, just scrolling through. Good, no questions. So the plan now is to get this ready for the beta launch. Yesterday I put together this very basic Lovable put together this basic landing page. It's more technical rather than marketing focused because it's telling people, hey, this is a beta test. It's not going to work. These are the limitations, and you're going to get free credits. It's a beta access. You need to sign up with your Google. This is why you need to sign up with your Google. You need your own YouTube channel. So this is actually going to be an issue with beta testing. Because not everybody I reach out to will have a YouTube channel. Obviously, the people that I'm interested in buying the product will have YouTube channels, but if I just go to my email list, for example, which is 50,000 people, a lot of people will not have a YouTube channel, so this will not be relevant for them, and in fact they won't even be able to use it because the YouTube API connects to your own YouTube channel. So I need to rethink the beta. There's a couple of ways I could do it. I could try to allow it to generate lead magnets off other people's channels, which is not necessarily the core functionality, but it is something we could look at doing. That actually opens up the use of this tool to build a business, because you can create lead magnets for creators, and you can say to the creators, hey, I'll make lead magnets for you. You put them on your page, you pay me, I don't know, $50, $100 per lead magnet, and I will give you 30 lead magnets per month, and you pay me $1,500, $2,000, whatever it is, which is a cool little business opportunity for people, but it requires being able to pull the transcripts from other people's videos. So that's one way we could do that. We could also widen it out, and I could add the APIs for Instagram so that we can pull transcripts from Instagram in order to generate not just YouTube but Instagram lead magnets. That's probably going to be easier because more people have Instagram pages than they do YouTube channels. Having a YouTube channel is quite specific. It's difficult as well, which is why I've only got 3,000 subs. It's taken forever, believe me. Okay, it looks like we're done. Or what are the other opportunities? Or I don't advertise on my newsletter per se, but maybe I advertise on YouTube and on social media. I'll probably do that as well. Okay, I'll work that in a minute. So step 3 complete. The credit system is now fully implemented with automatic beta tester role assignment and 10 initial credits for new users. The security warning shown. I'm not seeing any security. Oh, I am. Okay. Step 4, credit balance. So first, before we do any of that, let's quickly update it and see what that's doing. Okay, I need to think about who's going to be beta testing. I don't need that many, honestly. 10, 20 should be fine to get started. But ideally people with YouTube channels. Alright, so we're hopping in here, going to the admin dashboard, so I should be able to see I should be able to see like their credits. So I'm not seeing any visible so is implemented a credit system, credit balance. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go ahead with that then. Yes, please proceed. The problem with step 3 is it's without me going into my super base, which I can do. It's hard for me to see what exactly user credits. Okay, so it has set up the user credit structure here. ID, user ID, so that connects up here to the user. Balance, total earn, total spend, created at, updated at. So what I actually need to do is come up with a credit system. So generally on AI tools, your credits are not money. It's not just like, hey, you've got $10 of credit. Sorry, you've got $10 left. What they all do, and Lovable does this as well, if I click up here, I have 212 credits left. What they all do is give you a layer of credits. So it's not dollar amount. A couple of reasons why you might want to do this. One is it detaches it from cash. So it's kind of a level in between cash and utility. So they're not thinking, this is costing me $1 to run. They're thinking, oh, this is 2 credits. So there's an abstraction, which is quite useful if you're running a tool. I could see why users want to know the pure dollar amount, but as somebody who's running a business, I don't necessarily want them to know that. So we add a layer of abstraction there. So it's going ahead and adding the credit. So what we need to decide is how much is a credit? How much usage do we want them to get? We need to calculate how much each one of these lead magnets is costing me to generate. I know it's not very much. Let's have a look. I need to actually work out the exact. I think it's about a cent So usage. Yesterday I spent 10 cents. Today so far I've spent 1 cent. I've generated how many? 2? So it's probably half a cent if this is real time. I mean, this should be roughly real time. Which means I can start to work out, all right, let's say I give somebody 100 credits per month. How many generations is that? Is that 30 generations? So they're allowed to make 30 lead magnets per month. And how much am I charging them for that? We need to work out all of these variables so that it makes sense from a marketing point of view, but also a cost point of view, and for the user the value needs to be apparent. So it's a subtle balance, but first we're going to put in the kind of the pipe work behind, and then we'll worry about how much we're saying a credit is and how much it costs me. Because there is, I could basically say you can use as much as you want because it costs me so little to generate a lead magnet, but there will be 1 or 2 people who will take the piss and generate 100,000 lead magnets in a month, which even at 1 cent, let's do that, 100 times 0.01 cents, which will cost me $1,000, even though it's 1 cent per generation. It's unlikely, but let's say they generated 1,000. Wow, 1,000 would only cost me $10. So if I'm charging them $30 a month and allow them to generate up to 1,000 lead magnets per month, that is a maximum of $10 spent per month. So I still make $20 profit on that. 1,000's a lot. So 1,000, like over 30 days, that would be 33. You're not going to generate 33 lead magnets a day. Because this is the other thing. I don't want it to be too unrestricted, because then it devalues it psychologically. It feels like what you are using is not valuable. Ugh. It's complex. Very complex. Thankfully, I've got lots of time to think about it in between these things. I think what I'm going to go with, I'm going to note this down somewhere. I don't think you can see this on YouTube. So let's say it's 1 month, $20 a month. At $20 a month, I need 50 subscribers to hit $1,000 a month, which is doable, I think. $20 a month, and let's say that allows you 30 generations. Because most people realistically are not putting out a YouTube video every single day. That is rather psychotic. However, that means it is $1.50 per generation. That seems like a lot. So maybe if we nudge that up to 60 generations. Yeah, because they can create multiple variations. They can create multiple lead magnets per video. So that would be 30 cents per generation. So we're giving them 60 credits, basically. 60 credits. 1 credit equals 1 generation. Do we want that, or do we want... Okay, I'm going to Claude because this is a big question. Step 4 completed. Okay, first let's check this, and then I'm going to go to Claude and have a discussion about how on earth we do this credit system. This is probably something I should have thought through before, but I did not. It's the dashboard. Okay, I don't see anything about credits in there. So credit balance in header with coins icon. Boo, 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 boo. Let's have a look. Where is it? I'm not seeing it. Insufficient credit. Step 4. So it is set credit costs per... Okay, I'm getting twisted up here. So let me check this is working. Then I'm going to go over to Claude and talk to Claude about potential pricing. Try and work out a schema. It's something that we can change as we go forward. That's not a problem, but I just want a basic idea. Okay, so there we go. 0 credits is showing up here. So in the dashboard, okay, admin. Okay, it doesn't have anything about credits in admin, which is annoying. Let's see if I can actually generate a lead magnet. It might stop me from generating a lead magnet now because I have 0 credits. I just assigned myself 0 credits. Let's do this. Okay, there we go. So that says how many credits. This costs 3 credits. I have 0 credits. So let's, yeah, cool. So I can't generate this because it requires 3 credits. Okay, okay. The functionality is working. So I'm going to let this proceed because that is in place. And whilst Lovable is doing that, or Proced, because I can't type, I'm going to go over to Claude. Unfortunately, I can't talk to Claude on the web version, which is very annoying. Okay, Claude, I have a basic credit system in place. Okay, we need to discuss payment, credits, costs, etc. One generation costs me about 0.01 in ChatGPT costs. I want my customers to have a certain number of credits per month. It shouldn't be so high as to cost me more than the subscription, obviously. Cannot be unlimited. It also shouldn't be so high it devalues psychologically the value of the generation. Let's discuss structures. I'm basically going to use Claude to think this through because I do not know the answer. So we're going to have a discussion. So my generation costs are 0.01. Add infrastructure support. Good point. Good point. I am paying for other things like Superbase. I will be paying for other things. So okay, total cost per generation 0.0. Yeah, that's fine. Target profit margin 80 to 90%. Yes, please. This is always a wonderful thing about digital businesses. I've only twice got involved in like a physical business. And I remember we were eking out like a 15% margin, and that was considered amazing. It's like, my God, where's all the money going? When you run an online business, you sit much closer to these kind of margin levels. There's just a lot of cash, which is fantastic because you can plow that cash back into the business. So effective generation value for me is 0.5% or 0.1, sorry, 0.05 or 0.1. Oh, so that's 10. Yeah, it's 10 cents and 5 cents. Sorry. It's a generation value to me. So psychological pricing. Credit should feel valuable, but not restrictive. Yes. Sweet spot, 10 to 50 credits per month. Avoid penny psychology. Don't make 1 credit equals 1 generation. Okay. That is a good point. We want to divorce the credits from the actual cost. Recommended 5 credits equals 1 generation, makes each generation feel more valuable. Users think more carefully about usage, and monthly allocations are 50, 150 and 500. Option B, 10 credits in 1 generation, even more psychological weight. So monthly allocations, 10 doesn't feel right to me. So I think 5 credits per generation, but there are different lead magnet types. There are also different sized transcripts. So if somebody uploads a video that is an hour long, that's very different to a video that is 3 minutes long. I'm not sure if that is even an issue. Let's ask Claude. The videos are of different lengths, therefore the transcripts are different lengths too. Also, there are currently 3 types of lead magnets. We could charge different credit amounts. Also, 5 credits equals one generation. Sounds about right with the above taken into account. 3 tiers, there we go. Excellent points. Variable pricing based on the complexity makes total sense. Let's design a dynamic credit system that counts for transcript length and lead magnet type. So will we be able to do that? Yes, because it's already pulled the transcript at this point. Okay. Oops, daisy. So cool. That makes sense. Okay, the transcript is pulled in before the lead magnet ideas are generated, so we can check the transcript length and put the credit pricing on the what do we call this page on the your lead magnets. I don't want it to be super complicated in terms of fractional credits, so I don't want it to be like 3.7 credits for this, i.e. 2.35 credits for this, 6.3 for this. We should round we should round. We'll round down because we'll be a bit more generous. So there we go. In terms of the multiplier, make the multiplier less aggressive. And the formats order checklist PDF guide quiz/assessment order of complexity. Make bump less aggressive here too. Okay, cool. Go ahead and drop that in. Again, this is just going to give me a starting point. This is not necessarily going to be, well, it will not be where we land. So short, there we go, +2 credits, +4 credits, that is fine. Lead magnet complexity, fine. Okay, that is simpler. Now, it means we need to give them more than 50 credits a month, because if they have 50 credits and this is costing 12 credits, that is only 4 generations, which is insufficient. So nice and simple, that is fine. Okay, so we go 35 credits a month. So 3, okay, yes, this is better. Yes, okay. I think it's actually got it for me. So summarize this into a prompt I can take to level. That looks fine to me. So 35 credits a month for free, which gives you 4 to 5 generations a month. That's fair. Might even drop that a little bit. Starter gives you 10 to 24 generation, and that's only 12 a month. It's fine. Creator, this is kind of where we want people to land. So 30 plus generations per month. That is what I was thinking about 30 generations a month. That's 1 per day. That feels kind of right. Again, we're going to have to test all of this. And then business, so an enterprise level would be much higher. Psychology, blah, blah, blah. Room to adjust without much major restructuring. I think that's about right. So we're going to take this over to Lovable and see where it is with our last. Okay, credit deduction. Cool, it is completed. So I'm now going to, well, let's quickly check that. Actually, I'm going to implement these pricing changes first. So I'm going to grab all of this. I have some changes to the. I worked this out with Claude. Here's the summary. Please apply. Okay, so I'm going to give it all of the work that I just did with Claude. I've copied it over so it kind of understands the context and it'll be able to work its way through that. And then we will test this all properly. I'll implement the dynamic credit system with transcript-based pricing. Move the credit display to the results page as specified. So it's going to go ahead and do that. Right, that's going to take a while. So let's see if there's any questions. No, I don't think so. To be fair, this is a much more work with me stream, very different to the other stream that I do, which is the daily AI news updates of the day, plus answering questions from the audience. This is just me working. So I've been working for half an hour so far. I think we're doing okay. We've come up with a basic credit system. We're going to get this in play. We're going to make sure users can be created. We can assign credits. We can get the beta testers up and running. And then hopefully in the next few days, I'll be able to send this out and start to get people using it and getting their feedback. That is the plan at least. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure I'll explode everything in a moment or two, as I tend to do. Well, I'll do it in minute 50, just before finishing up the stream. I'll absolutely demolish it. What's this doing here? Get out of here. Okay, editing. So that's actually going to take a while. So if any of you are building, do tell me. I'd like to shout out your projects. I'd like to kind of get you some distribution as well. It doesn't have to be building with Lovable. Doesn't matter what you're building with. I'm using Lovable, as I've explained before, because pretty much anyone can use it. I was in Stockholm visiting Lovable 2 weekends ago and meeting a bunch of people who had won the Lovable Shipped competition, and most of them had never touched code before, but they had built something out which well, was making money. They built pieces of software that people were using. It was wonderful to see, and that's what I think vibe coding is really great for. Is previously, if as an entrepreneur or whatever field you're in, if you had a business idea, or if you had something you wanted to build, you'd have to go and find a coder, a technical co-founder, or you'd have to raise money to hire, and it was just difficult to do. Now that is not the case. You can put together a prototype very, very, very quickly using a tool like like Lovable. And the really important thing, and I say this with a lot of love, but there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who consider themselves idea people, but when they when the rubber meets the road and they actually have to build something, and when you're taking the idea out of your head and turning it into an application, you realize the limitations of your idea. So you hit problems like, like what are the screens that a new user needs to see in order to understand how this works? These are things that you wouldn't necessarily have scoped for or generated when you put together your plan. But as soon as you start to build it, you realize very quickly, like, that's not going to work, or we need to do this differently, because it becomes concrete, it becomes real. So it goes from an idea to something tangible, and that forces people to be more efficient, really. So successfully implemented the dynamic credit system with transcript-based pricing. Okay, cool. Can you generate? Oh, so can you add 30 credits to? No, this is a weird way to do it. Can you add a way for me to gift credits to users in my admin dashboard? So what I want to do is give myself my account some credits so I can test this, but just saying, oh, can you add some credits, is a bit silly. So I'm going to make a little system that allows me to give credits. I could technically have come back into here, into my table, and found my user and updated the credits, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this because it's a bit more interesting. And it's also useful when I move to beta testing or when we launch, having an ability to just gift somebody, hey, here you go, here's 100 credits, have fun. But I'm doing it primarily so I can gift myself some credits so I can test it. I could also turn off the requirement for me to have credits as an admin. I could give myself unlimited usage, but I want to test the credit system, so this is how I'm going to do it for now. So we have to test everything we're doing with vibe coding, because you'll see it will say like, I've done it, great job. Don't worry, we cannot ever trust that. We need to test it to see what's going on. If we do not test at each step, what happens is we'll, a day or two later, we'll have worked on our project for a few more hours, and then suddenly something's not working. The root cause of whatever's not working could have happened days before, and we have just built on top of that error. It's like building a house on unsteady foundations, and then the higher you go, the more likely the stuff underneath is going to collapse. So we check each step to make sure that it is basically working, that the pages are loading, that the functionality is in place, so that we know immediately if something's gone wrong, and we can quickly fix it before we start to build more crap on top of it. Really, really important. So once it's done this, I'm going to gift myself some credits, and then I'm going to try out the credit system and see if it works. If not, we'll be able to fix that credit system now, rather than me rushing ahead and building out. I forget what the other parts of the plan are, but I don't want to move on to them just yet for this reason. So on step 5, is this it? What is this? Okay, phase 1. So we are in step 5, credit deduction integration. Then we're moving on to admin management. We actually did that already. But I think we'll go ahead and we did that already because I wanted to be able to see if users were created. And then beta user management, create invitation system with beta codes, bulk credit management for beta testers, user feedback collection system, analytics for beta testing. I'm going to not bother with the analytics right now because it's too much, etc, etc. Okay, cool. This looks like I've done it messages. I've successfully added a comprehensive credit gifting system to your admin dashboard, exclamation mark. Here's what I've implemented. User search by ID, credit gifting, credit, user credit overview. Okay, so it's done a lot more than I asked it to. Hopefully it hasn't. Oh my god. What have we done? Okay. Let's go and see if it's broken everything. It's added like an audit system. It's admin. I'm not seeing anything. I'm pretty sure this is Claude in the background, and Claude's like, I know what's good for you, and it's gone ahead and it's there we go. User management, credit management, transaction history. I did not ask it to make any of this, but okay. So this is me. Selected user. I'm going to give myself 100 credits. Testing. That's a description. Gift 100 credits. And then we're going to go back to user management. Well, I can't see his credits, so it's not very helpful. Transaction history. Okay. So what would be useful is if I now go back to here. Do I have 100 credits? Don't see it. So let's go ahead and grab a video. Throw it back in here. Because that says 0 credits. That shouldn't. That should now say 100. So it's created me a beautiful, complicated auditing system. But the basic functionality of adding credits hasn't. It looks like it hasn't worked. That's vibe coding. Yeah, it has. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Lovable. I just tested giving the admin user, the only user who's currently in there, 100 gift credits. I got a success message saying, yes, I've added 100 credits. I also saw in the audit, the transaction history, sorry, that 100 credits have been added. However, One, I'd love to see how many credits each user has in that user panel. That'd be a useful thing to have. And then two, when I go back out to the main page, out of the admin dashboard, my user account, so my admin account, has not been given those 100 credits. So the credits have not been successfully applied. They are not appearing in the top bar with the coin icon, and I cannot do any generations because I still have a credit balance of 0. So the main functionality is not working. Hey Sarah, I'm not sure if you're still here. When are you going to do a live, Sarah? If you are still here, Sarah, tell me if you are and when you're going to do a live. And where are you in the world? Are you still in Indonesia? Japan? Sarah lives a much more exciting life than I do. I don't think she's here anymore. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and try to reapply, well, try to make that functionality work. So it's created a whole bunch of other cool things, but it did not get the basic task done. WBLE, we are doing a live where I'm building in public. I am creating an AI application from scratch. We're on day 9 of 30, and the plan is to build it out and to launch it and try and generate the first dollar by the end of 30 days. And I'm doing 1 hour of work on it a day. We're currently at 40 minutes, so I've got about 20 more minutes. And we are using Lovable as the tool to do this all, and it's going pretty well. We had a few days where it was just bug and crash and disaster one after another. Once we moved through that, now we're just adding functionality at a fair clip, so it is now going very well, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to get this launched and make a first sale before the end of the 30 days. I mean, I am cheating a little bit. I have an audience of about 250,000, so if I don't make any money, I will be I've done something terribly wrong. Okay, yours. So while it's doing that, I'm not going to do this today because this is foolish, but so I'm also thinking about adding the ability to create lead magnets for Instagram, videos, TikTok. TikTok's weird because you can't do DM giveaways on TikTok, and you can't really post links. But okay, TikTok and YouTube Shorts. What would that look like in terms of getting the transcripts? So the main thing we need is the ability to pull transcripts from the video content. So with YouTube, we use the YouTube API, and we can grab either the auto-generated transcript or the uploaded transcript. So the question, if we're moving to other channels, which make this really valuable, is can we do this with other formats? I could also potentially do it with blog articles. That's the other cool thing. So let's say somebody's written a blog article, we could convert that blog article into a lead magnet. So there are lots of other ways we can generate. So great idea. Short form videos are huge for lead generation. Instagram has no built-in captions API like YouTube. Instagram doesn't provide transcript access, and most content doesn't have captions. So we could do this. So we can use Whisper AI. So audio to text, video download, you know. So we could do it with audio to text. It's just going to cost more money. So it's 0.006 per minute. Oh, I need to talk to Shen about this. Shen runs Launch Lemonade, which is a platform that allows you, I'll put it up for you. She does a lot of stuff with audio work. Audio AI, freshly squeezed, always on. It allows you to build agents and chatbots very, very quickly. But she works with the audio API a lot, so maybe I should chat to her. So I could use the Whisper API transcribe the audio from the videos, which is not ideal, and then use that to generate the lead magnets. So user pastes in Instagram URL, download audio, transcribed with AI, generate lead magnets. TikTok, no official transcript API, great. Auto captions exist but not accessible. Similar legal terms of service issues as Instagram, so we'd use audio again. We could use TikTok scraper. I've used this before. It's on Apify. I'll show you what it looks like. No, that's Octopus. Where's it gone? TikTok scraper. So the TikTok scraper allows you to scrape videos and to get the transcript. I swear you can. TikTok profiles, hashtag post URL, shares, followers, hearts, names, video, and music related. Oh. No, what had I done? Maybe I scraped. I've done this before, where I scraped TikTok videos and I was pulling the transcripts. I must have been using a text to a speech to text model. I've totally forgotten now. Okay. But yeah, that gets fiddly. YouTube Shorts don't have transcripts and the auto-generated captions are inconsistent. Same YouTube API access as regular videos. Okay, so use the API first. So that might be easy because we've already got that in place. We just need to update it for Shorts. So YouTube Shorts easiest yet. Extend existing YouTube system. Try Whisper. Sorry, transcript API first. Fall back to Whisper. Minimal addition. So it looks like we're going to have to put in Whisper if we want to do all of this, which is fine. It does mean the price that I charge is higher because it needs to transcribe it, but it is something we can look at. So maybe okay, let's nail this down first. We need to nail down the YouTube transcription and the credit system for this, but maybe on higher plans you do get access to TikTok and Instagram, because they're going to require a higher cost to get that information out. So credit display and user panel has been solved apparently. We have 10 more minutes. Okay, let's have a look. So I don't have any credits here, but might need to be reapplied. So credit. No credits data. So let's go to credit management, search for me, select user, give 100 credits, test, give to 100 credits. Okay, so now it's showing as has 100 credits here. Cool. Transaction history, awesome, that works. And then back to here. 100 credits. Okay, so we're looking good. Let's grab a video, doesn't matter which. So I've got 100 credits. I can plug this in. Boop. It's going to analyze the video. It's going to pull the transcript from YouTube. It's going to work out how many characters, how many characters are in that transcript, and then it uses that plus the lead magnet type to generate a credit cost. So my current balance is 100 credits. The video analyzed is 1200 words, excuse me. So these are the costs. So this lead magnet, the checklist will cost 5 to generate. So I could generate 20 of them based on my 100 credits. This could cost 8 and this costs 7. So let's go ahead and see insufficient credits. Well, required 3 credits, current balance 100 credits, shortfall 97 credits. Well, that's not right, is it? So something went wrong and then it's deducted all my credits. Okay. Okay, I know what we're fixing for the next 10 minutes. Right. Hey, lovable, that's cool. I can now add the credits. They are correctly assigned to the user. I can see in the user panel how many credits they have. And then when I went back to the main application, I could see I had 100 credits in my balance. So that all worked. I processed the video as per usual. I could see the character count that was working and the calculation seemed to have been done. The prices were 5 credits for the checklist, 8 credits for the quiz, and 7 credits for the PDF guide. So that seems to have worked. However, when I clicked on generate lead magnet, it flagged up that I had insufficient credit. It said I had 100 credits, it was going to cost me 3 credits, and I had a shortfall of minus 97 credits. Then that modal dialog crashed out. I went back to the admin dashboard and it said that that user, my user, had been given 100 credits and spent 100 credits, so therefore was at 0 credits. So something is not working at the point of generation. Cool. So vibe coding is primarily about communicating well with an AI. That was fairly clear, I think, hopefully. And you notice that I gave it what seemed like obvious information, but it's only obvious because we have seen the screen and we know what's going on. We need to relay everything back to our vibe coding tool to give it all of that extra context, as if it's a bit stupid. It's not really stupidity. It's intelligent, but it doesn't have the context of what we can see. So we need to give it all of that information for it to be able to do anything. So hopefully I've now given it enough context that it's able to work out what it should be looking at and to get it fixed. Found the bug. The generation pages are hard-coded credit costs while the dynamic... Okay. Yep, that will be it. So it's put in 3 credits, 4 credits and 5 credits, like hard-coded, like literally written into the code in the back. The numbers 3, 4 and 5, whereas what we want is for them to be variables. So those numbers 3, 4 and 5 change depending on how long the transcript is and what lead magnet type it is. So the generator was expecting the variable version, but it was sent the hard-coded version, and that has caused an issue. So we'll go ahead and see if that fixed it. This tool will be a nightmare for real dev if you ever need someone to take a look under the hood. Yep, so this is a common, very fair criticism of vibe coding. The main benefit of vibe coding is to get something to market and prototype it really fast. Previously, entrepreneurs had to work with engineers, or you had to learn to code, or you had to raise cash and hire people, or get a co-founder. That limitation has been removed, which allows people to actually create a lot faster, which is super exciting for people who are entrepreneurs first, not coders. For engineers, it's also going to create work for you guys because you have to fix these things up. But the plan, or what you can do with vibe coding, is you can build something fast, prove there is market demand and that people actually want this stuff, and then if there's sufficient cash, if the business looks like it's a goer, you can bring in engineers to either fix it or just to rebuild it, because you now know there's market demand. The main thing that kills startups is not the technology being good enough. The main thing that kills them is nobody cares. Like, the market does not care sufficiently about what you've built, and then it dies. So we're going to use a low-cost tool to get the market in, to get the idea into a workable position where people can use it and be like, hey, this is cool, to generate enough interest that we can then hire, or we can then work and optimize for scaling at that point. But we don't bother doing that until we know the market actually gives a damn, because that is the biggest risk. And it's why, unfortunately, Product Hunt, etc., are just full of, it's a graveyard of tools that people thought would be a great idea, and they spent a long time building, and then the market did not care. Yeah, market risk is our biggest issue. Okay, so earned 200, so we're going to pop back over to here, and we're going to throw in our video again and see if we can actually calculate it correctly again. The other thing we can do, so I'm building in Lovable for now for speed, but also to show how doable this is. We can also push it from Lovable up to GitHub, and then we can continue our project in Cursor or some other tool, a tool that gives us more control. So let's see if this works. Insufficient credits, so I need to grab this. I'm going to see if I can get a console. Nope, because it kicked me out. Okay, so that did not fix it. So what I'm going to do, we don't want to get into a situation where we're just saying, nah, it's not working, and do that repeatedly and repeatedly, because the vibe coding tool is going to put into place fixes, which are not actually fixes. And when you have all of these kind of botched, incorrect fixes in the back end, I'm sorry, in the code, that's going to make a mess. So we will ask a few times. We'll try. I never want to go more than 3 times saying, hey, it's not working. And then we need to either roll back to where it was working and then go from there, or take some other actions. We covered them on day 2 and 3. We went through a whole different range of options, but you never want to be in a situation where you've asked it to just fix it for the 10th, 20th time. That's bad news. There's clearly a bug in the credit calculation where 100 being more than 5 is treated as insufficient. Race condition. The generation pages are checking credits before they're fully loaded. When credits is null, still loading, has enough credits, returns false. Okay, that makes sense. So it's loading in the information in the wrong order, basically. So it loads in that I have 0 credits initially, and then it checks whether I have enough credits, returns no, you don't have enough credits, and then it is loading in, oh, this user has 100 credits. And that is causing, understandably, problems. Although that's what Lovable is saying. Again, we need to go and check it. That might not be the case. It could just be gassing us up. Unfortunately, it keeps wiping my credits, which is not ideal. What do you think about automated financial reporting for small accountants? Do you think there's demand? Probably. It's a very high risk area though, because so what I'm building here is it makes lead magnets from YouTube videos. If the accuracy is not quite there, it doesn't really matter. If the accuracy is not quite there for automated financial reporting, woo, like that is a big problem. So in this kind of case where you are building a tool for financial reporting that you're selling to accountants, it needs to be tight. So vibe coding is probably not going to be the way to build a tool like that. What I was just saying about checking if the market is there, yeah, but you need to, with a high risk area like financial regulation, automated financial reporting, legal areas, etc., you need a level of precision, a level of quality from the get-go. It has to be really good. So for that particular use case, I would probably hire somebody, honestly. In terms of whether there's demand, I don't know. You'd have to look. It's your market, so you'd have to look around for the demand first. I would say look for other people who are doing the same thing. Competition is a good thing. We want to see competition, because competition means that there is market demand. Market demand is far harder to make. The only people who can make markets are giant, billion-dollar companies. For us, it's really hard to do. And we can deal with we can deal with competition much more than we can deal with the lack of market demand. Let's see if this works. Oh, got a generation. Got a slow generation. And we got kicked back to the admin page. Didn't get any console errors. Elisabetta, sorry, excuse me. Where can I find all your recordings about vibe coding? That will be on YouTube. It's the best place to see them. Oh, you're on Twitter. Yeah, so if you head over onto YouTube, so YouTube / @ I am Kyle Barmer, or just search I am Kyle Barmer, there's a playlist that has them all. I think it's called Build in Public or something like that. You should be able to find it. So YouTube's going to be the best place. Okay, we have run out of time, unfortunately. We're at 1 hour and we have a problem. So that's fine. We had plain sailing for about an hour, which is unusual. For those of you who've been on these lives before, having a whole hour go pretty well and then having a bug at the end, I'm happy with that. So what have we done? We have come up with a credit system. I think that's the big win. We use Claude to do so because I didn't want to have the discussion inside Lovable because one, it's using my credits, and two, it's always trying to push towards implementation. So even when you put it in chat mode, at the end, it will always say, do you want me to implement that? And I just want to have a back and forth discussion for a while. And because Claude has all of the additional context, I can use Claude to go back and forward a bit more leisurely, discussing how we can implement a credit system. So I'm happy with the credit system we have in the moment. We have added the ability to add credits. That seems to work. We have a transaction credits. Okay, now I can see what's gone wrong. Okay, this is going to be really helpful fixing the bug, by the way. I can see that it is spammed -5 credits multiple times, and that's how I've lost the credits. So that's going to help me work it out. We've also fixed the credit application. So when you get gifted credits or you buy credits, it's going to appear up here, and they're appearing on the idea screen. So we're getting there, but what is happening at the moment is whatever this bug is. So when you click generate, it is draining all of the credits and saying nope, don't have any, and it's crashing out. So we need to work out what that is, but that is something that should not be a problem to fix. Awesome. So all in all, a good day. I'm meant to be launching the beta. I was aiming for Saturday. I don't think that's going to be possible anymore. That's fine. If it's next week, it's next week, and we will live. I'm still moving pretty fast. I've been working on this now for 8 hours. Yep, 8 hours, but that involves a lot of me chatting to camera as well. So I don't know, maybe 5 hours total. And I'm happy with where we are. Cool. All of this, as I've just said to Elisabetta, is available on YouTube, so you can catch up with the previous versions. Also, I do a live giving the AI news and updates of the day. Also, if you are interested in starting an AI business, I keep forgetting to pop this, talk about this, but if you go to aiwithkyle.com, at the bottom, or aiwithkyle /tools, I have a start a AI business quiz. So you can walk through this and it will give you 3 different ideas of businesses you can start in the AI space. And it's a pretty cool tool. It also will then give you resources that you can use, some paid, some free, mostly free actually. So to take your first steps into AI entrepreneurship. So I just want to flag that up. So it's aiwithkyle.com/tools, AI business quiz, and you'll be able to hopefully take your first steps towards starting a business with artificial intelligence, because it is a really good time to start a business. Okay, I'm gonna hop off, and we'll see you guys tomorrow around 10 a.m. for the AI news updates, and then around 11 a.m. for building in public, where I will get this credit system up and running. Thank you guys.